defines a species? At first glance, it is something that any child can ace as a definition on a test. It is a group of organisms consisting of similar individuals. Ask a scientist, and the answer may be different. There are multiple ways of defining species, whether that is based on what organisms can mate together, what an organism's evolutionary relationships look like, or what their DNA consists of. Over time, as technology has evolved, our methods of classification for bacterial species has changed from using more lab-intensive methods, such as visual and biochemical examinations of agar cultures, to bioinformatic techniques, which uses programming languages to analyze genetic material. With the development of the bacterial classification system, there are still questions that are left unanswered about what the best way is to define a species. One of these major questions is whether species can be defined based on just their genetic composition or their genomic similarity based on their evolutionary relationships. My research has attempted to do exactly this. Look at two different methods of classification in bacterial species, specifically Escherichia coli or E. coli, and compare them in order to see whether methods of classification based on genetic composition are just as effective as methods based on evolutionary relationships. One of the best methods of classification that is used today is looking at the average nucleotide identity of individuals. This is a similarity index given to genomes based on their evolutionary relationships. The second method that I used to classify strains of E. coli was DNA signatures. This looks at the genetic composition of each strain and groups the similar ones together. This method gave the same results as the average nucleotide identity, which provides proof that methods of classification based on just genetic composition are as effective as methods of classification based on evolutionary relationships. So why should we care if both methods are effective in classifying bacterial species? Well, for one thing, methods of classification based on genetic composition are a lot quicker than methods based just on evolutionary relationships. To put this into perspective, my sample of E. coli genomes took 1 week to analyze based on their genetic composition, as compared to the 1 month it took when using methods based on evolutionary relationships. As our technology has evolved, the main goals have always been to make things more efficient, accurate, and easy to use. And by incorporating methods of classification based on genetic composition, we would be getting one step closer to a better method of classification overall. So, when asked about what defines a species, yes, there's many different ways that this question can be answered, but I would say it is important to look both at what our DNA is made of and where it has evolved from.